go live and make a video. All right, so we are studying this book right here, The Untethered Soul. It's a book that we're reading through together. So one in the comments if you have read this book, and two in the comments if you're new. I see a lot of twos that were new to the book. All right, so this is a number one New York Times bestseller book, and it's all about how to get out of your mind to free yourself from the mental prison that you're in. Okay, so this book is going to help you and really getting beyond the dissonance between your head and your heart. We're going to find that coherence, okay? So I'm going to start with the introduction, and it says, "This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man." Okay, cool. I'm glad it doesn't read like that the whole way through. That was just a quote from Shakespeare. All right, so Shakespeare's age-honored words spoken by Polonius to his son Laertes in Act 1 of Hamlet sound so clear and unambiguous. They tell us that to maintain honest relations with others, that we must first be true to ourselves. Yet if Laertes were to be totally honest with himself, he would realize that his father may as well told him to catch the wind. After all, to which self are we to be true? Is it the one that shows up when we're in a bad mood? Is it the one that feels present when we feel humbled by our mistakes? Is it the one who speaks from the dark recesses of the heart when we're depressed or we're upset? Or the one that appears during those fleeting moments when life seems so fanciful and light? Well, from these questions, we see the concept of self may turn out to be a little bit more elusive than initially presumed. So perhaps if Laertes could be a bit more, my bad. If Laertes could have turned to traditional psychology, it would have shed some light on the subject. Freud in 1927, the father of psychology, divided the psyche into three parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. He saw the id as our primal, our animal nature, the superego as the judgment system that society has instilled within us, and the ego as the representative to the outside world that struggles to maintain a balance between the other two powerful forces. But this certainly would not have helped young Laertes. After all, to which of these conflicting forces are we to be true? Again, we see that things are not always as simple as they seem. If we dare to look past the surface of the self, questions arise that many people would rather not ask. Are the many aspects of my being all equally part of myself? Or is there only one of me? And if so, which, where, how, and why? So in the following chapters, we will undertake a journey of exploration of self. We will not only do so in a traditional manner, but we will neither call upon the experts in psychology nor upon the great philosophers. We will not argue and choose between time-honored religious views or resort to statistically supported surveys of people's opinions. We will instead turn to a single source that is a phenomenal direct knowledge on the subject. We will turn to the expert, one expert, who for every moment of every day of their life has been collecting the data necessary to finally put this great inquiry to rest. And that expert is you. But before you get too excited or decide that you're not up to the task, first be clear that we're not after your views or your opinions on this subject. Neither are we interested in what books you've read, what classes you've taken, nor seminars that you've attended. We're only interested in your intuitive experience of what it is like to be you. We're not looking for your knowledge. We're not seeking anything other than your direct experience. You see, you can't fail at this because your self is what you are, and at all times and in all places. We simply need to sort it out. After all, it can get quite confusing in there. So the chapters of this book are nothing but mirrors for seeing yourself from different angles. And through the journey we're about to embark on, even though it's an inner one, it will draw upon every aspect of your life. The only requirement asked of you is the willingness to honestly look at yourself in the most natural, intuitive manner. Remember, if we're seeking the root of self, what we are actually seeking is you. So as you read through these pages, you will identify much more than you thought that you did know about some very deep subjects. The fact is, you already know how to find yourself. You've just gotten distracted and distorted and disoriented. But once refocused, you will realize that you not only have the ability to find yourself, but you have the ability to free yourself. Whether you choose to do it or not is entirely up to you. But upon completion of your journey through these chapters, there will be no more confusion, no more lack of empowerment, and no more blaming others. You will know exactly what must be done. And should you choose to devote yourself to the ongoing journey of self-realization, you will develop a tremendous sense of respect for who you really are. It is only then that you will be able to come to appreciate the full depth of the meaning and the advice. This above all, to thine own self be true. All right, are you guys excited? That was just our introduction to the book. We're going to move into part 1, which is awakening consciousness. So this is, I had 626 on the timer. This is a very empowering book. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your comments as we work through it, okay? So I'll be reading and then I'll be pausing as we're having, moments of clarity or breakthrough. If there's something that I'm led to share deeper on, or share a specific experience on, or share my insight or channel a message on, I will then be pausing and we'll be talking about those things, okay? And if there's ever a question or a concern, something you want to talk about, please engage in the comments, okay? I want to talk to you. I want to communicate with you, okay? We're doing this together. Together we rise. It was really good for just an intro. I know, right? All right, so we're going to start with chapter 1, and we're going to go for an hour a day at 12 o'clock every day. So we're 15 minutes in, so we've got quite a ways to go. I do speak and read rather fast. I'm going as slow as I feel comfortable going, and I hope that that's a good pace for you. If for any reason I get excited and I sometimes speed up a little bit, so if for any reason I ever happen to be speaking or reading too fast, and you're not comprehending something, or you need me to repeat something, just say, whoa, hold up, can we repeat that? And I'll go right back, okay? And you don't have to be like scared to ask. Just be like, can we repeat that? Like, can you read that again? Can you go back to that? Let's repeat that. Hey, I had confusion on that, okay? Because we're here to work through it. We're here to gather together, learn, and grow, okay? So same here when I'm excited, nervous, or very in a combo, I talk fast. Yeah, when I get like that, like, yeah, I get passionate. Yes, let's go. Like, it's like you're in the zone and you just want to bullet train it. That's the vibe. That's me. All right. Okay, so let's keep going on chapter 1. Are you guys ready? If you don't have a pen and paper and you have a book, you should have a highlighter. Let me actually grab my highlighters. I forgot I was recording over here. My bad. I forgot about the YouTube people. I just shut the computer on YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. I love you, YouTube. I'm coming right back to you, YouTube. Okay, it's over there. I got to go get my little bag that has my little pens and my highlighters and everything, because we're going to be taking notes, okay? So if you don't have a notebook, you need a notebook, a pen, a highlighter. If you got the book, highlighter in the book, okay? If not, notebook and pen, or your phone, something you can take notes on, okay? Something you can take notes on. I know it doesn't have to be color coordinated. Mine just is. I didn't do it intentionally either. I just have. It's just beautiful. Just is. All right. So, my beautiful little coordinating bag. That was intentional. I mean, this was intentional with another purchase, just not that it matched the book. Oh, we even have that pen, but we're not using those because those are actually fancy pens, but we can use this one. Okay, and then how about, I like to have like multiple highlighters, so I'm just going to pull out all my highlighters, yeah? And then if I pause, and sometimes like if I'm like really, really studying something, like if I'm studying in school, I'm just going to give you guys a tip. I don't know why. Maybe somebody needs to hear this. But if I'm studying something, like I'm really learning something, I'm in a course, I'm going to have a meaning for each one of these. Like this is going to be, P is going to be like personal truths, or B is going to be like emotions, because emotions are deep, right? They're emotional, they're B. So these are things that are dealing with emotions. This is heart chakra energy. I don't know, like whatever. You can label it, whatever. So if you want to like label your highlights in your book, you can. But whenever you're studying, that's really, really helpful. So this little sticky notes that go on the side, you can label what the label thing is for. Anyway, I label labels. All right, so here we go. You ready? If I have something that's really good, I will pause. I will stop. I'll highlight. We'll talk about it. We'll go on. If you catch something you want to talk about, please make note and we'll do the same. Okay? All right, here we go. So we are reading The Untethered Soul, Chapter 1. Are you ready? Let's take a couple deep breaths and like clear the energy of the room and get us all together in a good vibe before we get started. Yeah? Deep breath in. We're going to do box breathing. So we're going to take a deep breath in for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. Hold that breath. 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly release that breath. And pause. Slow breath in. Pause. And release. Pause. There you go. Deep breath in. Release. All right. Are you ready? Here we go. The voice inside your head. Shoot, I can't remember her name. What's her name? Darn. Here she comes. What is it? Sally, Sue. She just told me yesterday. What's the matter with me? This is going to be embarrassing. In case you haven't noticed, you have a mental dialogue going on inside your head and it never stops. It just keeps going and going. Have you ever wondered why it talks in there? How does it decide what to say and when to say it? And how much of what it says actually turns out to be true? How much of what it says is even important? And if right now you're hearing, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't have any voice inside my head, that's the voice we're talking about right there. So if you're smart, you'll take the time to take a step back, to examine this voice and get to know it better. The problem is you're a little too close to be objective. You have to step back and watch it converse. While you're driving, you hear internal conversations like, wasn't I supposed to call Fred? I should have. Oh my God, I can't believe I fucking forgot. He's going to be so mad. It doesn't say fucking. I totally added that. Get into character. Okay, he may never talk to me again. Maybe I should stop and call him right now. No, I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop the car right now. So you notice that voice I'll use this to help slow down a little. You want me to slow down a little? You need me to slow down a little? Is that what you're asking? Are you needing me to slow down? Am I reading too fast? Y'all let me know. It's day 1. Taking feedback. You let me know. Are we good? Or slow it down? I had this first. It just happened. It just happened. It was just emphasizing it. Okay, so are we good speed-wise? Give me feedback, guys. Are we good speed-wise? I'm just going to keep going. If I'm not hearing anything, I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so you notice that this voice is taking both sides of the conversation. It don't care what side it takes, just as long as it gets to keep talking. Speed's perfect. It's good. Okay, good. All right, so the keep talking. When you're tired and trying to sleep, it's the voice inside your head that says, what am I doing? I can't go to sleep yet. I forgot to call Fred. I remembered it in the car, but I didn't call. And if I don't call now, oh, wait, it's too fucking late. I should call. I can't call him now. I can't. I even thought about that. I just need to fall asleep. Oh, shoot. Now I can't fall asleep. I'm not even fucking tired anymore. Like, I have a big day tomorrow, and now I got to get up early. I got to go to sleep. I got to get up early. Well, no wonder you can't sleep. Why do you even tolerate the voice talking to you all the time? You have a choice. That was me. Like the first time I read this, okay. The first time I read this, I had a whole put brakes, pause. You mean I can tell it to stop? You mean I don't have to listen to it all the time? Anyone else? Anyone else? One if that's you? Even if what it's saying is soothing and nice, it's still disturbing everything you're doing. I hate being interrupted, but that voice is constantly interrupting me and I just allow it. You don't have to allow that. You don't have to allow that. If you spend some time observing this mental voice, the first thing you will notice is that it never shuts up. When left to its own, it just talks. Imagine if you were to see someone walking around constantly talking to himself. You'd think it's strange, right? You'd wonder if he's the one who's talking and he's the one who's listening. He obviously knows what's going to be said before he says it. So what's the point? Well, the same is true for the voice inside your head. Why is it talking? It's you who's talking and it's you who's listening. And when the voice argues with itself, then who's arguing with it? So who could possibly win? It gets very confusing. So just listen. I think I should get married. No, you know you're not ready. You'll be sorry. But I love him. Oh, come on. You felt that way about Tom. But what if you married him? So if you watch carefully, you'll see that it's just trying to find a comfortable place to rest. It will change sides in a moment if that seems to help. And it doesn't even quiet down when it finds out that it's wrong. It simply adjusts to the new viewpoint and keeps going. So if you pay attention, these mental patterns will become obvious to you. It's actually a shocking realization when you first notice that your mind is just constantly talking. You might even try to yell at it in a feeble attempt to shut it up, but then you just realize that's the voice yelling at the voice. Shut up! I just want to go to sleep. Why do you have to talk all the time? Well, obviously you can't shut it up that way. Here's your first note, my first highlight that I have in the book. Is the best way to free yourself from this incessant chatter is to back up and view it objectively. They're telling you to rise above your situation and view it differently. The book we're reading is called The Untethered Soul. We're going to do an hour-long reading session every day until we finish this book, and then we'll move on to another one. But we're going to pause and have discussions in between. We'll talk about it all, right? Okay, so from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock every day, lunchtime. We're doing our lunchtime learning. So I can choose to make my mind hush. I stay overthinking, bro. Exactly. That was like, my whole pause earlier was like, wait, I'm letting it. That shit just happens. You mean I have control over that? I get a choice? I don't have to live this way? This book is so incredible. It's going to change your life, okay? I've read it. This is the fourth time I've read this book. I teach you guys out of this book all the time. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's go. So here we go. First highlight I had. The best way to free yourself from this incessant chatter is to back up and to view objectively. Rise above your situation, right? Just view the voice as a vocalizing mechanism that is capable of making it appear like someone is there talking to you. So don't think about it. Just notice it. Okay. It's there. It's a cloud in the sky. You are the sky. It's a cloud passing by. A thought is a cloud passing by. You don't need to latch on to every thought. You're the sky. You're not concerned with all the clouds. So don't think about it. Just notice it. Just like in meditation, just let the thoughts float on by. You're going to be in a meditative state. You're going to be in a mindful state all day, every day. You're going to live your life like this. Okay? All right. Just view the voice as vocalizing mechanism that's capable of making it appear like someone is in there talking to you. Don't think about it. Just notice it. No matter what the voice is saying, it's all the same. It doesn't matter if it's saying nice things or it's saying mean things, worldly things or spiritual things. It doesn't matter because it's just a voice talking inside your head. In fact, the only way to get your distance from this voice is to stop differentiating what it's saying. Stop feeling that one thing it says is you and the other thing it says is not you. If you're hearing it talk, it is obviously not you. You are the one that's hearing the voice. You are the one that's noticing that it's even talking. I'm just going to let y'all sit with that for a second. You are the observer. You are not your thoughts. Everybody type that in the comments. I am not my thoughts. The voice in your head is the thoughts. The thoughts are not you. You are the sky. They are the clouds passing by. You confused because you listen to all of them thinking it's you and thinking you got a fucked up mentality because you can't seem to get your thoughts straight. Nah, you ain't supposed to be intentional all that shit. It's just talking no matter what. I am not my thoughts. Yeah, I'm not my thoughts. You are the observer. I am the observer. You do hear it when it talks, don't you? Make it say hello right now. Say it over and over a few times. Now shout it inside. Shout it. Hello inside. Shout it inside. You just did it, right? So can you hear yourself saying hello inside? Of course you can. There is a voice talking, and there is you who notices the voice talking. The problem is that it's easy to notice the voice saying hello, but it's difficult to see that no matter what the voice says, it's still just a voice talking, and it's you listening. There's absolutely nothing that voice can say that is more you than anything else that it says. I'm going to repeat that. There is absolutely nothing that voice can say that is more you than anything else that it says. So suppose that you were looking at 3 objects, okay? A flower pot, a photograph, and a book. Okay? And then you were asked, which one of these objects is you? What's your immediate reply? None of them. None of them. I'm the one who's looking at what you're putting in front of me. It doesn't matter what you put in front of me. It's always going to be me looking at it. You see, it's an act of subject perceiving various objects. If you catch this, it's going to change your reality. Are y'all following? So it's also true of hearing the voice inside. It doesn't make any difference what it's saying. You are the one who is aware of it. And as long as you think that one thing that it's saying is you, but the other thing that it's saying isn't you, then you have lost your objectivity, meaning that you may want to think of yourself as the part that says the nice things, but it's still just the voice talking, because you may like what it says, but it's not you. And there's nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. If you don't understand this, you will try to figure out which of the many things the voice is saying is really you. People go through so many changes in the name of trying to find myself that they want to discover which of these voices, which of these aspects is their personality, which one of those that they truly are. But the answer is simply None of them. If you watch objectively, you will come to see that much of what the voice even says is meaningless. Most of the talking is just a waste of time and energy. The truth is that most of life will unfold in accordance with the forces far outside of your control, regardless of what your mind says about it. It's like sitting down at night and deciding whether or not you want the sun to come up in the morning. The bottom line is the sun will come up and the sun will go down. And billions of things are going on in this world, and you can think about it all you want, but life is still going to keep on happening. In fact, your thoughts have far less importance and impact on this world than you would like to think. If you're willing to be objective and watch all of your thoughts, then you will see that the vast majority of them have no relevance. They have no effect on anything or anybody except you. So I'm going to pause real quick, and I'm going to read the highlighted points that I highlighted from this little segment here. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're going to pause right there. Okay. These are the highlights I have from this segment. So take what notes you will. These are the notes that I took from this segment. I would love you guys to, like, if you're getting any mic drop moments, drop a mic in the comments. And then if you have something that's really standing out to you, it's like, ooh, that's good. Please write it out for other people in the comments to take notes too. Okay. So the best way to free yourself from this incessant chatter is to step back and view it objectively. You are the sky. The thoughts are the clouds. It doesn't matter because it's just a voice that's talking in your head. Stop thinking that one thing it says is you and the other thing isn't you. You're the one who's hearing the voice. The voice is just a tool. It's just a mechanism. So if you're looking at three different objects, a flower pot, a photograph, and a book, and I asked you, which of those are you? You're going to say none of those, right? Because you can objectively see, I am none of those things. I am perceiving those things. You are not your thoughts. You are hearing your thoughts. You're perceiving your thoughts, okay? So you're going to have the subject perceiving object. You are the subject. You are perceiving the objects. The thoughts are things. You are not the voice of the mind. You are the one that hears it. If you're watching it objectively, much of what the voice says is pointless, meaningless. You don't even need to focus on it. The thoughts that you attach to are the thoughts that create your reality. So be careful which thoughts you attach to. They only have effect on you. Okay? Are you ready? All right. So they are simply making you feel better or worse about what's going on now, what has gone on in the past, or what might go on in the future. So if you spend your time hoping that it doesn't rain tomorrow, you're wasting your time. Your thoughts don't change the rain. You will someday come. There is no use for the incessant internal chatter, and there's no reason to constantly attempt to figure everything out. Eventually, you'll see that the real cause of the problem is not life itself. It's the commotion the mind makes about life that is causing the problems. Eventually, you'll see that the real cause of problems is not life itself. It's the commotion your mind is making about life that is really causing the problem. So this raises a serious question. If so much of what the voice says is meaningless and unnecessary, then why does it even exist? Well, the secret to answering this question lies in understanding why it says what it says when it says what it says. For example, in some cases, the mental voice talks for the same reason that a tea kettle whistles. That is, there's a buildup of energy inside and it needs to be released. So if you watch objectively, you will see that when there's a buildup of nervous, fearful, or desire-based energies inside, the voice becomes extremely active. And this is easy to see when you're angry with someone and you feel like telling them off. Just watch how many times that inner voice tells them off before you even said anything and saw them. When the energy builds up inside, you want to do something about it. That voice talks because you're not okay inside, and talking releases the energy. Did you guys catch that? Did you catch that? So the voice is going on and on and on and on. It builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up. it needs to be released. It's talking because you're ignoring it. You're ignoring yourself. You're ignoring the inner child that's going on and talking, but you're attaching to the thoughts that are confusing you, that are going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So this energy is building up and needs to be released, right? So it's a tea kettle. So when you get angry with somebody, you already told them off 50 times before you actually even saw them, right? You already played it out in your mind. So you got to do something about it. That energy wants to be released, and this is the way to release it. So you'll notice, however, that when you're not particularly bothered by something, it still talks. When you're walking down the street, it's going to say things like, oh, look at that dog. It's a Labrador. Oh, look, another dog in that car. He looks like my first dog, Shadow. Oh, there's an old Oldsmobile. It's got Alaska plates. I don't see many of those down here. No, you shouldn't be telling the person off. You should be processing through the emotions and dealing with your shit, so you ain't got to tell nobody off. Because really, when you're going and telling somebody off, you're really projecting what you're unable to deal with emotionally within your own self, and you're expecting them to fix it for you. Dumping your trauma on them instead of dealing with it yourself. Where's those mic drops? Okay. I had to learn less myself, okay? I only tell you because I learned it myself first. Okay. All right, so here we go. That's easy to see when you are angry with someone, you feel like telling them off, watching my time to tell them off. Okay, we're going to talk about those. Okay, so it's actually narrating the world for you. But why do you need this? You already see what's happening outside. So why and how does it help to have this repetitive thought process through the mental voice? Well, you should examine this very closely. With a simple glance, you instantly take in the tremendous detail of whatever you're looking at. If you see a tree, you effortlessly see the branches, the leaves, and the flowering buds. Why then do you have to verbalize what you've already seen? Look at the dogwood. The green leaves are so beautiful against the white flowers. Look how many flowers are there. Wow, it's so full. What you'll see if you study this carefully is that the narration makes you feel more comfortable with the world that's around you. It's like backseat driving. It makes you feel as though things are more in your control. You actually feel like you have some sort of relationship with them. A tree is no longer just a tree in the world that has nothing to do with you. It's a tree that you saw, that you labeled, and you judged. Ooh. So by verbalizing it mentally, it brought that initial direct experience of the world into the realm of your thoughts. There, it becomes integrated with your other thoughts, such as those making up your value system and historical experiences. So take a moment to examine the difference between your experience of the outside world and your interactions with the mental world. When you're just thinking, you're free to create whatever thoughts you want in your mind, and these thoughts are then expressed through the voice. You are very accustomed to settling into the playground of the mind and creating and manipulating thoughts. This inner world is an alternative environment that's under your control. The outside world, however, is an alternative environment. It marches to its own laws. And when the voice narrates the outside world to you, well, those thoughts are now side by side and parity with all of your other thoughts. All things and those thoughts intermix and eventually actually influence your experience of the world around you. When you end up experiencing what you end up experiencing is really a personal presentation of the world according to you, rather than the stark, unfiltered experience of what's really out there. This mental manipulation of the outer experience then allows you to buffer reality as it comes in. So, for example, there's a myriad of things that you see at any given moment, yet you only narrate a few of them. The ones you discuss in your mind are the ones that matter to you. With this subtle form of pre-processing, you manage to control the experience of reality so that it fits together inside your mind. Your consciousness is actually experiencing your mental model of reality, not reality itself. I don't know if y'all caught that. Did y'all catch all of that? Because I just caught that. This is the fourth time I've read this book. So we're taking our outer experience, we're internalizing it with our internal narrator to try to have a conversation with ourselves, to form relationship with the reality that we're experiencing, because we're so not here. So we try to form a relationship with the reality. So then we're viewing it through the lenses of our past and our filters of what we've experienced, and trying to make it make sense based on our conditioning. And then we put those thoughts of this and these thoughts of this together, and we meld it, and we create our own inner reality. We're not living in the reality that's actually happening. It's our mental model of reality. That's deep. That's deep. So you have to watch this very carefully, because you do it all the time. You're walking outside in the winter and you start to shiver, and the voice says, it's cold. You always thought that was you, huh? Now, how did that help you? You already knew it was cold. You're the one who's experiencing the cold. So why is it telling you this? You recreate the world within your mind because you can control your mind, whereas you can't control your world. So your thoughts are trying to recreate the world in a way that you can digest it in your reality. It's taking the external, bringing it internal. That's why you always think if you change the external, you can change the internal, because you're always extrapolating and identifying as what's going on in the external and making that your identity, instead of understanding your true identity is you, and you create the external through your internal awareness. So instead, you're playing these mental games and recreating it in a way that you can deal with, because you can control it in that way. So that's why you mentally talk about it. If you can't get the world the way you like it, you internally verbalize it, you judge it, you complain about it, and then you decide what you're going to do about it. This makes you feel more empowered. So when your body experiences cold, there may be nothing you could do about the temperature. But when your mind verbalizes it's cold, well, then you can say, well, we're almost home, just a few more minutes. And now you feel better. And the thought world, there's always something you can do to control the experience. So basically, you recreate the outside world inside yourself, and then you live inside your mind. And if you decide not to narrate and instead just consciously observe the world, then you'll feel more open and exposed. This is because you don't really know what's going to happen next, and your mind is accustomed to helping you. It does this by processing your current experiences in a way that makes them fit with your views of the past and your visions of the future. So your view of the past, your vision of the future, and your viewpoint of where you're looking right now. Interesting. All this helps to create a semblance of control. If your mind doesn't do this, you simply become too uncomfortable. Reality is just too real for most of us. So be temperate with the mind. You'll come to see that the mind talks all the time because you gave it a job to do. You used it as a protection mechanism, a form of defense. Ultimately, it makes you feel more secure. As long as that's what you want, you will be forced to constantly use your mind to buffer yourself from life instead of living it. Ultimately, let's back up. You're going to come to see that the mind talks all of the time because you gave it a job to do. You use it as a protection mechanism, a form of defense. Ultimately, it makes you feel more secure. You're having that conversation with yourself. As long as that's what you want, you're delusional. You're thinking it's yourself. You're identifying as your thoughts. It's not you. Follow? So, as long as that's what you want, you'll be forced to constantly use your mind to buffer yourself from life instead of living it. The world is unfolding and really has very little to do with you or your thoughts. It was here long before you came, and it will be here long after you leave. It was, in the name of attempting to hold the world together, you're really just trying to hold yourself together. It's called the untethered soul. True personal growth is about transcending the part of you that is not okay and needs protection. This is done by constantly remembering that you are the one inside that notices the voice talking. That is the way out. You're the one that notices the voice talking. That is the way out. The one inside who is aware that you are always talking to yourself about yourself is always silent. It is a doorway to the depths of your being. To be aware that you are watching the voice talk is to stand on the threshold of a fantastic inner journey. If used properly, the same mental voice that has been a source of worry, distraction, and general neurosis can become the launching ground for true spiritual awakening. Come to know the one who watches the voice, and you will come to know one of the great mysteries of creation. All right. So that is chapter 1 of The Untethered Soul, the journey beyond yourself. How does that resonate? Are you guys, did you learn anything? What were your takeaways from chapter 1? I have so many things highlighted in there. It's about becoming the observer of your reality, right? It's about being present in the moment, not identifying as the conversation, the thoughts, the dialogue. Like, did y'all realize you can put a stop to that? You can just let it go on, let it talk. That ain't me. You do it. If I don't pay you any mind, I'm not giving you any attention. They say pay you any mind because it's costing you. It's costing you. Where are you investing your energy, your time, your attention? You're the observer of your thoughts. I am not my thoughts. So anytime you catch yourself getting lost in that mental battle, mental dialogue that's going on, gently bring yourself back. That ain't me. That ain't me. It's okay. That ain't me. Right? Oh, the first chapter cracks you wide open. Wide open. And then you like, okay, let me marinate with that. So practice. Till we meet again tomorrow. The book is called The Untethered Soul. And we'll be reading chapter 2 tomorrow. And this will be posted on YouTube so you guys can go back and listen to it. Chapter 1. You guys want to talk about it? Any conversations? Let's talk about it. Hit me up in the comments. How y'all feel? Does it make sense? Do you have confusion? Do you have questions? Does it resonate? Meaning resonation, guys. Let's talk about resonation. That's when your heart and soul becomes alive. You feel expansive. You feel alive and inspired and expansive. You can feel your energy filled. That's resonation. It's coming alive to the truth. The truth sets you free. Did you resonate? If there was places where you felt restriction, I challenge you to challenge the thought that you had, that you chose to latch onto if you felt the restriction, and go and challenge that thought. What was the thought that I had? That doesn't feel good. So what's the opposite of that thought? Let's replace that belief. That feels good. Let's replace it. Does that make sense? Flip the script. All right. Well, if there's no questions, there's no comments at this time, I'll leave it open for the comments on YouTube for you guys to discuss in the comments, and we can always come back and talk about it more. But otherwise, I will see you tomorrow, same time, same bat channel, right? 12 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow for chapter 2 of the Untethered Soul. I encourage you to be taking notes, journal your thoughts and your feelings surrounding the material every day. What are your breakthrough moments? What's your takeaways? What are you going to practice today? So today our practice is going to be catching ourselves. Every time we get into those thought spirals and we notice ourselves lost in the internal dialogue where we're recreating the reality within our own mind so that we have control over it. We're not living in the present. We're living in our mind, not present, numbed out. We're going to bring ourselves back gently. We're not going to be mean to ourselves. We're not griping at ourselves. We're not, damn it, fuck, again. No, it's going to be, I caught myself. Hey, I've never caught myself before. I caught myself 3 times today. I'm so proud of myself. I may have went off like 50, but I caught myself 3 and I have never caught myself before. That's big. I'm proud. Good job, self. I'm proud of you. Right? Y'all follow? You got it? So awareness of I am not my thoughts. Observing my thoughts. I am the sky. They are the clouds. I don't need to latch onto them. I only choose the thoughts that feel good to latch onto. Choose your thoughts wisely. Okay? And gently bring yourself back. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Come back. Tell me how you do. 24 hours. Let's see how you do. Can you bring yourself back? Can you maintain your peace? Can you observe your thoughts? Observe your reality without internalizing it. Okay? Are y'all ready? You got this. I'll see you tomorrow at noon.